Hi, Gio.
Hello, Philip. I'm excited for another week, another podcast episode. Excited to be here and talk to you again.
Yeah, likewise. We have prepared for today a topic about mistake and misconceptions in B2B lead generation. So we can start with the first one. Gio, please do so. The
Yeah,
first one
yeah,
is
no.
pray and
Uh-huh.
pray.
Yeah, so one of the mistakes or and misconceptions of B2B, I mean, both Philip and I have been in B2B, right? And we have businesses that are in that B2B sector. So this spray and pray approach, we've both basically been a part of this approach, right? And in some moment in time, you just get that curiosity and you're like, well, and for some people, let's be clear, it might work for some times, but in terms of long-term scalability, this approach of spray and pray. So spray and pray is sort of another way to say the shotgun approach, right? Where you're basically not you're basically focusing on the numbers game versus on being very specific, very intentional, and which connections you make and how you build up those B2B relationships, which could then turn into business or eventually referrals down the road if everything goes well. So I think right now we're seeing a big amount of spray and pray approach on LinkedIn and on social media in general. That's the type of approach you're seeing. So if you want to stand out, you got to do the opposite, right? And even though it does work, it takes a specific, a lot more human resources, a lot more right volume in order to get the results you're looking for, and you're not necessarily gonna get the high quality leads that you're looking for. That's my take on that one.
Yeah, practically the idea is to start and build a true and trustworthy relationship with the people which will be guiding you towards business corporations, new conversions, and similar. So you put aside and behind you the numbers game because you want to be winning in that game. One that is for sure. Especially as you said, and that is a great point today nowadays when you have so much of everything and everything is the same, so differentiating factor is practically non-existing in that terms. I agree with it completely. The second one would be, and it is, expecting immediate results. A lot of clients, partners are always saying that they are patient, but the problem is always about true patience behind. Very important to emphasize in any B2B conversation, in any business conversation, and before you start cooperation with your clients and customers, is that you do not engage with those who are in panic mode. What does it mean? People who require immediate results because they have financial struggle, the problem, and which is practically a result of compound effect doing nothing or doing things on a wrong way. So you definitely cannot help those prospects. You will be definitely becoming one more hanging Pedro at the end of the game. So immediate results doesn't exist. You have some amount, some portion and percentage of success based on luck, but you cannot lean towards that, and that shouldn't be your primary point of strategy. The conclusion is, at least from my perspective, and you'll add on to that, there are no immediate results, especially in complex or highly complex B2B solutions. If we are talking about industry 4.0, production companies, marketing agencies, web development companies, mobile application companies, and any other expertise-based business like business consulting and coaching and other respectable fields. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, this is a classic mistake that a lot of people make in terms of expecting immediate results. I mean, and I think it's more so the world we live in where social media and us being able to have information very quickly creates a false expectation for a lot of people because they're getting a lot of things, right? Amazon sends it to you in 2 days, right? Google, you get the response and answers immediately when you type into Google. So it's sort of like over time, we've social media and the internet is good, but at the same time has sort of shifted people's expectations. And I think in terms of business, we have to remember if it's a real, solid, long-term business relationship, that takes time to form, and that takes time to build that trust, and it takes time to get results. So for you to expect immediate results, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot by having the wrong expectations from the beginning. So I think this is something people really have to start to think about and be and have realistic expectations about results. And it all depends on, right? Because it all depends on the complexity of the problem. It depends on your budget, human resources. There are a lot of factors that go into results, and you have to take those into consideration as well. But even then, some people might get lucky every once in a while, and you see they get some quick result because of, right, there's always that little bit of luck factor for some people. But at the end of the day, the reality is for the majority, it isn't that way. And you have to wait, you have to put the energy in, you have to be consistent, put the time, have the plan together, make the adjustments on the go, and then eventually you'll start to see those results. So yeah, definitely a big one.
Yeah, a good point there. Also, one which is definitely complementary and in addition to the one we mentioned, and that is believing in a magic wand.
Harry Potter on him.
Harry Potter style, yeah. Wingardium Leviosa. Exactly. Please touch on that, and I'll add few of my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, believing in a magic wand, or I see this one as things are gonna happen unless you make them happen, and you're intentional with your plan, with the people you're working with, right? Having the right team, the right partners in place to help you execute, and put that plan into motion. Because if there's that plan isn't in motion, you don't have the consistency, you don't have the right people by your side to execute at the right level, then don't expect any results. Don't expect anything to happen if you don't have certain things in place. So there is no magic wand, right? Like it goes off the previous point that don't expect immediate results. At the same time, it means, right, nothing is just going to happen because you're a great person or because, right, you may have a great solution, but if the right people aren't in place, if you don't have the right processes in place in terms of how you're going to generate leads, how you're going to build the relationships, don't expect people to just show up, right? They're not just going to come and connect with you. You have to have the right content, right strategies in place so that you grab the attention, and then you start to build those relationships. But there is no like magic wand, and you're not just going to be like, boom, and the results are there. Yeah, so unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And what is happening with the market, at least what I'm seeing, is there are so many offers, practically somebody selling a magic wand and solution, one key to open all the doors. That is hit and run, hit and miss. And I'm sure those tactics, and we can call it even strategies in some form, can give results. But the fact is, without the proper strategy and consistency, which we'll be saying a little bit more now, you cannot expect any meaningful results. Because, yeah, as I said, without proper approach, there won't be any kind of results. And we are definitely connecting with that to the topic of lack of consistency. People are trying some of the strategies, doing something in some time frame, but they simply in one moment say, okay, this is not for us, this is not working. And surely you always have A, B, C, D, E, F, G type of testing and everything. But the point is, consistency means not only to pushing one strategy, one approach. Consistency meaning in overall activities, entering on a new market, providing adequate scope of the activities and promotion for a specific product of your company, solution of your company, and similar stuff. Because one thing is a fact, at least my experience taught me that when you are in the last moment and one last fragment of your patience, then you need to hit even harder, and that will give you wanted results, because majority are simply saying, no, that is not working for us, we are rejecting that approach, we'll be stop doing that or this, and pull out from the case scenario and the activities. But consistency and being persistent will drive you towards the end goal. That is for sure, because on the market and market-wise, not the smartest win, not the most talented wins, but the most persistent one wins. And that is the fact. For entire.
No, I agree. No, I agree. That's a real good point there. And that leads us, Filip, to the next point that we had, which was lack of consistency. And we've already kind of touched it a little bit on these previous points. But yeah, lack of consistency. I think I'm gonna say it real quick and I'm gonna, no disrespect, but I think a lot of people, they say that they want it, they say they want specific results, but they don't show it. So and how do you show it? You show it in your consistency, you show it in following the plan, etc. So that to me is very important. I think when you talk about lead generation, there's a lot of different factors that go into it, and part of those factors is being consistent with every step of the way, every part of the strategy, be it content, right, be it outreach, be it follow-up. All those points, all of them have one thing in common, and in all of them you have to be consistent in order for it to work and really get the maximum results.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely good point. Entire process, entire funnel, you name it however you want, needs to be aligned and properly handled, because I saw too many times the situation in which practically the system, the activities, both sales and marketing efforts are generating leads, but the break point is in response rate from the service provider who is actually started those activities. So they're not responding fast enough. They do not give relevant information. They are not doing things in a necessary amount around the consistency in terms of the approach. Because very important thing is, okay, you can even sell the service, but consistency also means the level of quality and deployment. It is not only us presenting ourselves, we are amazing, we are this, we are that. No, you need to have full cycle consistency, and that will drive you towards the next stage and situation in which you are even upselling and scaling the engagement with your respective clients and customers. And also, after those which we mentioned, we have a big one, practically we covered that one for entire scenario, and that is a lack of strategy. Companies are doing ad hoc activities, trying even brick and mortar style, as we mentioned previously, counting on immediate results, betting on the luck factor and similar stuff without proper strategy and approach. Because strategy is not something, paper can tolerate everything, but that is not strategy. Covers entire workforce setup, consistency, and outline, which will be not from today until tomorrow. It's a long-term stuff. So companies need to have a proper business plan and strategy, not for 3 months, 4 months, year, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are always third-party elements which can impact on what is really happening in business and in world in general. But the fact is, you need to have everything aligned and all included on all involved on the same track. That way, with the proper consistency, you can deploy the strategy in full scope, and results will be happening in a specific frame.
No, very good point, Filip. I think this is one where it's very obvious that a lot of people understand they need a strategy, but then it's about picking the right strategy, right? First having one and then picking the correct one. But like you said, a lot of people, it's, oh, I could do it myself. Right. I don't need anybody for now. I could work this strategy out on my own. That's one, right, where then they end up either giving up on that strategy or end up switching various times, and then they end up basically not having that consistency. So we go back to consistency in terms of the strategy as well. Yeah, but a lack of strategy would just it will just destroy you, because then you have the right direction you want to go in, you have the place you want to be, but then strategy is basically the detailed directions on how you're going to get there. So you could have all the other things, but if you don't have the strategy, it's going to be very, very hard to get where you want to go to.
Yeah, and if you already have a written document as a strategy and a business plan, it's accountability check, activity check. So you are, according to the values, according to the setup, according to the communication strategy and everything, aligned and doing what is determined as things in scope, which needs to be deployed properly to reach those goals. And simply to wrap that up, what would be, from your perspective, a solution and smarter way and better way in the approach for covering and eliminating or even mitigating in some scope and frame those mistakes and misconceptions?
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's like, I think I had mentioned it briefly on one of the previous points, and that's having the right people by your side. I think one of the most valuable resources in any company, and probably the most valuable, are the people, right? Are the resources you have around you, because those people are the ones that add their thought processes, add their experiences, add their expertise into the conversation to help, right? To help add on to your strategies, to help add on to what you want to build. And then having the right people around you, I think, is very important, be it in terms of like a partnership, a contractor, or an internal team member that has the enough experience and expertise to help guide you so that you don't make these mistakes. So I think it starts with the people, starts with having the right people around you that can help basically give you the right guidance, so that you don't fall into these type of mistakes. So that would be probably, for me, the main one, because what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Until somebody comes, and then you're able to, they add that perspective. So that's important to me. You have to have the right people that can help lay out things for you. Maybe when you're not seeing things in a certain way, they help turn on that light bulb so that you can see them. And that, to me, is important. Yeah, probably one of the most important pieces.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with you, and add on to that practically what is often happening. Companies are looking for compromise solution, trying to do something on their own with internal resources. Everything of that can be done properly, but the point and the effluent of end of line, doing business seriously, is do what you do best and pay for the rest. Meaning hiring professionals, growth hackers, people who know their stuff, to help you, to guide you to the desired state. And that is a great point you mentioned, emphasizing the importance of adequate resources and being surrounded by adequate people within the team, both internal resources, meaning an employees and colleagues within the company, and external resources as any kind of freelancers, contractors, or other colleagues who are a part of your team. Yeah.
I mean, I think we covered all the mistakes, misconceptions, gave that last point to help people out. And I think this is going to be very valuable for a lot of people, especially now, since there's a lot of, right, we see there's a lot of B2B lead generation consistently going on, especially on social media and different platforms. So yeah, it was a great conversation. Great to be here again, adding value.
Yeah, exactly. It was a true pleasure. And Gio, catching up soon then.
Catch up next week. We'll see you next week, man. Thank you. I
Take care and
appreciate
see
it.
you. Bye bye.
Have a good one.